Hello everyone, I'm Yash Kumar, and as part of my data mining coursework, I'm trying to integrate the AI pair programmer tools with my VS Code, and in this case, I've chosen to go ahead with Cursor. And what I want to do is I want to build a basic project using the Titanic dataset, and I want to implement a web page where you can enter the details, and then based on whatever you enter, it should integrate with the model I train, and that should then give you whether the passenger would survive or not. Okay, and I mean, so we have all of this information, but like, what does Cursor exactly do? Cursor is basically similar to GitHub Copilot, where you can ask it to generate code for you, as well as you can use it as a pair programmer, and it will keep editing your code as an autocomplete. And yeah, so what I've done here is that basically from what I wanted to do, we have this Titanic.csv where we have all these different information regarding a passenger and whether they survived or not. This is a classic data science basic project that most people do. And yeah, so this is a classification problem. So first and foremost, what we want to do is we want to um, train the model that can perform this classification. So we do all the classic steps, loading, pre-processing, feature selection, train and test data split, and all that up to training the model, evaluating it, and then saving it. So I've done this step already, as you can see. So it creates the Titanic underscore model.pkl file, and yeah, I mean, most of it is auto-generated by the tool, cursor tool, and I just made some small edits wherever necessary to fine-tune it to however I wanted. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. It created this model, and the next step was I wanted to create a predict uh, not class, sorry, a predict Python script where it would then load this Titanic model, and then based on that, it would predict the features. And where are we getting these features? We're basically getting these features using Flask, where we have created this endpoint. And the data that we get from the form, which is an index.html that I'll go to next, what we're basically doing is like we have all of these different features in the form, and we're extracting those features, and then we're sending it to the model just to predict whether the user or a passenger will survive or not. And finally, we're returning the survival prediction to through a JSON on the next screen. So what is index.html doing? Again, it's just a basic HTML and CSS which I generated through Cursor, and it integrates with the Flask using post HTTP post method. And all it's doing is it just creates a basic HTML form that we can submit. So if we want to see it in action, I'll just quickly bring up the backend, which is the Python predict.py. And before we even run it fully, we can just have another terminal, and yeah, as we can see, it is active. So now that it is active, we can just invoke a web request and check whether it is working or not. And yeah, as you can see, the survival prediction, it is returning a status code 200, so everything looks good. Now that this is working, we can now go to our web page, which is a simple form, a Titanic survival predictor. And we have the passenger class, third class male, 25 years old. Maybe I'll go second class instead. I have two siblings and I have no children. And my wage was, since it's that, maybe let's just say $50 or pounds, considering where we are. And we left from Southampton. And it would say that I'm not surviving. So it's a pretty basic project that I was able to make in minutes thanks to Cursor's pair programmer and generation. And that is really all about Cursor. I think it has a really cool integration with VS Code so that you can use all of its tools directly. And just a simple thing, if like it mentions here, Control L to chat. So if I wanted to ask anything to it, I was asking a couple of things regarding Flask here, and then if I were to do Control K, it would just come bring up the code generation file, which I use frequently.